The time is 7:02. There are 5 members of council present. A quorum is established. I call this meeting to order. Will you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Item number 3 is the discussion of the vacant city council seat. This is from the resignation of Councilmember John Ledford. Those letters were in your packet, and I know each one of you were notified individually by John. John was an excellent council member, and we hate to lose him, but through life circumstances, he's had to step down. So that is going to create a vacancy on council. And we're going to have to move forward with addressing that. As you know, we have 30 days to address a vacancy on council. And if we fail to act, then the governor acts. So we want to keep local control and make sure that we're choosing who's going to fill that seat. The seat would be through the end of the term, which would be December 31st of 2026. So the first item would be to just officially accept, formally accept the resignation from John Ledford, and I'll just need a motion to do that.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Barnes, second by Murphy. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. That resignation is effective. And now we've got to figure out, as council, what you all want to do to fill that seat. So I know that all of you have been thinking about it and thinking about what the best road ahead would be. We have so many qualified individuals in our community, great citizens who could fill this role. We do, 4 of you are on the ballot this fall, and then we do have 3 excellent candidates that are also running. I would just say that selecting one of those candidates would be unfair to the other 2, and I think you all recognize that too. So with that being said, I'll just kind of open it up for your discussion or recommendations on how we move forward.
Okay. Well, I know it was part of the committee where we interviewed folks for the prior council member seat. I think choosing one of those folks would be a good option. Somebody who is committed to the city and has given back to the community on multiple occasions. I think they would be an excellent candidate. We know that this is just a 4-month position. They cannot run again. So, excuse me. So we would, I think that this would, I have somebody in mind, if I can say it out loud.
Me too.
Okay. I think Kay Lane would be a good option.
That's who I picked too.
So.
Kay's actually here tonight, I believe. So, Kay, I didn't know if you knew you were this popular, but Kay's actually at a lot of our meetings. Any other discussion, or it almost sounded like a motion
I
to
would make
appoint
that
Kay?
motion. Yeah.
Second.
Was that a second? Okay. Any further discussion on the matter? We'll poll the members to appoint Kay Lane to fill the vacancy in the city council at this time.
Barnes.
Aye.
Hilton.
Aye.
King.
Aye.
Murphy.
Aye.
Trimble.
All right, it's official. Kay Lane, you are going to be, or you have been appointed to fill the vacancy that was created when John Ledford resigned. Welcome to the team. We will get with you to start filling out the paperwork and so forth, and kind of get you ready for the upcoming meetings ahead and your duties and responsibilities for the next 4.5 months here. So, thank you, Kay. Thank you very much.
Now, does she have to help you pick up trash in the morning?
That option is always out there, Kay. I think Nathan's already recruiting her right now.
Well, I made a comment to her today, but I just kind of take that.
Yes. Okay. Well, thank you all very much, and once again, congratulations, Kay. Next item is public comment. We have one individual signed up to speak. Thomas, if you can come to the podium, please introduce yourself. We ask to keep your comments to 5 minutes or less, please.
Good evening, Mayor Botts and members of the council. Last month, Chief Noel did a thoughtful presentation explaining how city block safety cameras operates, including its policies, auditing procedures, examples of how it is assisted in recovering stolen vehicles, locating missing persons, and supporting criminal investigations. I appreciate the chief for taking the time to address the community's concerns. Tonight, the purpose is not to debate whether technology should be used in law enforcement. It is to encourage transparency, accountability, and public confidence as technology evolves. Chief Noel stated that there is no expectation of privacy in public. That statement reflects an important constitutional principle recognized in the United States Supreme Court. A person knowingly exposes a public view generally receives less Fourth Amendment protection than activities occurring inside the home and in public space or private spaces. At the same time, the court has recognized that advances in technology can change constitutional analysis. Decisions such as United States versus Jones, Carpenter versus the United States demonstrate that prolonged or technology enhanced collection of location information may raise constitutional questions and traditional visual observation does not. Those cases did not involve flock cameras specifically, nor did they hold that automated license plate readers are unconstitutional. They did, however, remind us that constitutional law continues to evolve alongside technology. The constitutional question is therefore more nuanced than simply asking whether someone was traveling on a public road. And that is why transparency matters. Chief Noel stated that approximately 90% of flock cameras were funded through asset forfeiture proceeds. Those funds can support legitimate law enforcement needs such as protective equipment, communications equipment, computers, vehicles, officer training, and community outreach programs. The city chose to invest a portion of those resources into flock cameras. That may prove being a worthwhile investment, but government investments, public resources, when government invests public resources in surveillance technology, the public deserves an opportunity to understand the cost, evaluate the benefits, comment on the choice, and know where its elected representatives stand. Chief Noel provided compelling examples of these system successes, but when I requested records identifying cases in which city flock cameras contributed to the arrest of criminal investigations this year, I was informed no such records existed. Responsive records existed. That does not mean that those records did not occur. Those successes did not occur. It means the city apparently does not maintain those outcomes in a form that allows the council or the public to evaluate the program's overall effectiveness. If we're going to continue investing public resources in this technology, shouldn't we measure the return on that investment? An annual public report showing how flock assists in missing persons, recovering stolen vehicles, or advancing criminal investigations will allow everyone to evaluate its benefits objectively. I would ask the council to examine the transition from traditional. I would also ask the council to examine the transition from traditional, highly visible police vehicles to vehicles with less markings. Police vehicles have long been an important component of community policing and deterrence. If less visible vehicles provide an operational benefit, I respect that benefit is. I respectfully ask what that benefit is and whether it outweighs the value of the residents being able to immediately recognize a police vehicle. Finally, I commend the Mount Sterling PD for implementing body-worn cameras. Body-worn cameras provide an objective record of encounters and can strengthen accountability while protecting both citizens and officers. I understand that the Delaware County Sheriff's Department operates independently from the city. Nevertheless, I encourage continued dialogue with our county partners regarding body-worn cameras because accountability benefits everyone. In closing, I respectfully ask the council to consider 3 actions. First, public measurable annual outcomes associated with city flock camera program. Second, hold a public forum dedicated to flock program allowing residents to be heard. Ultimately, place the continued use of this technology before the council for a recorded vote. Third, continue supporting policies that strengthen community trust and accountability, police officer training, body-worn cameras, and community engagement. Public safety and constitutional liberty are not opposing values, yet they reinforce one another. When citizens trust their government and government remains transparent, accountable for its citizens.
Okay, thank you for your comments, Thomas. Next item on the agenda is Bob Holly, Sustainable Streams. Bob, welcome. Good to have you with us here tonight.
Hello.
Made the trip in from Louisville?
That's right.
All right, well, welcome. Good to have you here. And council does have handouts. They have your packets, so.
Great. Well, thank you for the invitation to be here. I was over in Moorhead today, surveying the whole day, so I'm a little tired. I already provided you all the handouts, but I just wanted to give you a chance to ask questions and also just give a very brief summary of the flood reduction work that we've been doing with Mayor Botts and other partners like the Kentucky Division of Water. This was funded through a grant from the Kentucky Division of Water. And what it involves is the design and the modeling of two, we call them floodplain sinks. So everybody knows that flooding is a problem, not only in Mount Sterling, but across the country. And one of the most cost-effective ways to help reduce flooding for everyone is to excavate sediment from the floodplain, get that sediment out of the floodplain, and that allows water to have more space to go where you want it to go instead of, when it doesn't have space, it just rises and floods people. So, with the help of Mayor Botts and private citizen, Mr. Walker, two floodplain sink locations were located upstream of downtown. One's at Cribble Park, the dog park, and the other's a property owned by Mr. Walker. And the design and the permitting of the Walker sink is almost done. The design is done, but the permit is almost in hand. And the Cribble Park drawings are effectively complete. And the permitting documents are pretty much prepared, but we haven't submitted those because we want to wait until we know if there's construction planned. So in summary, 55,000 cubic yards of sediment are going to be removed from the Walker property, and about 19,000 cubic yards of sediment are going to be removed from Cribble Park. And when we do that, as the water's coming up in your creek, instead of getting deeper, it starts flowing into these sinks. And the way that it works is it actually reduces the flow by about 500 cubic feet per second, which is an engineering unit of measure. But that's about 20% reduction of all the flow that gets to the Cribble Park area in your creek. And then when the flows combine with all the runoff from downtown, all those impervious surfaces and everything, they end up reducing the peak discharge downstream of Cribble Park by about 600 or 700 cubic feet per second. And that ends up benefiting downtown for the 100-year flow. It drops the water surface about 4 to 9 inches, which sounds small, but that's a pretty remarkable number for just 2 projects. And for the 10-year flow, it drops it between about 5 inches and 18 inches, depending on where you are downstream of the sinks. So again, very, very notable improvements. I've got some maps that kind of show you the extents of the changes that are modeled. And you can see some buildings that, like the post office, for example, it used to be really close to flooding at the 100-year. Now it's got probably 6 inches of freeboard there, right? So, so that's all really good news, and I'm just delivering that good news. I should qualify this though, that's the 100-year storm, that's just that's kind of a misnomer. What it really means is if the past weather is representative of the future weather, every year you have a 1% chance of a 100-year storm occurring. But we know that the weather's getting crazier. So it definitely doesn't mean that if we get the 100-year storm today, we're not going to have it again tomorrow. So that's just a good engineering frame of reference, like a benchmark, but it doesn't mean that it's only going to happen once every 100 years. It's likewise, the 10-year storm has a 10% chance of occurring any given year. So, that's, again, the past weather is predictable, the future is not. So anybody that was watching the news saw the terrible floods that happened in Indiana like last week, and it washed out Interstate 70, a bridge on Interstate 70. You all had pretty bad floods here in Salt Lake and Moorhead. So Kentucky Division of Water has been supporting a lot of communities like yours to try to invest in these green sinks again to get sediment out of the floodplain, to get water space to go to help reduce those floods. If you ever get Hurricane Helene, the only thing you can do is evacuate. You got to have an evacuation plan. Hurricane Helene was about 30 inches. The 100-year storm, for reference, is 6 inches. So the only thing you can do with Hurricane Helene is evacuate, right? But for these 10-year storms and 100-year storms, these floodplain sinks are going to make a meaningful difference. And we're happy to report that. And I don't know if there's time for questions, but I'm happy to entertain any questions.
Well, a lot of work done on this, and thank you so much, and thank you for your patience with us as, we've tried to provide you with the information necessary to provide us with this study. This will be shared with the public on our website. How much more work, are you completely finished, or is there any finishing touches that we need on this?
We just need the front-end documents from Gateway, to help if you're going to bid this out.
Correct.
Yeah.
So council knows where we're at now. This is the study. We're ready, so we have the engineering study. The next step will be going to construction. Before we close this out, as I mentioned before, and Roger, you noted, we've spent a lot of money on this study. We need to recoup through reimbursements that money we've spent. We have to get the easements put on. I know you're working with the city engineer, so that may take a few months, but once that's done, we'll officially close this out. We'll apply for our reimbursement, get our money back we've spent, and then go to bid. So that'll be the next step, going to bid on construction using this engineering study.
I only have one question. I know you're talking about getting the sediment out to where it will. How long is it going to take for the sediment to get back?
That's a good question. So I did an analysis of the rainfall at your rain gauge here that National Weather Service operates. And 2024 was a pretty good representative year, looking at kind of the mean over time. And 2 events would have got in these sinks in 2024. And so, it depends on how much sediment that water's carrying, but I've given estimates on some other sinks that we've designed where we actually have sediment data from the creek, so we can get a better understanding of it. And that was going to fill up over 100 to 500 years. It was going to fill up like 5 feet.
Okay.
So, it really shouldn't fill up too quickly, but the good news is, unlike dredging a creek where it's really challenging and it's really expensive, if the floodplain fills up, you can just take the sediment out again. But it really...
I just didn't know if it was 5 years, 10 years,
Yeah.
20 years.
Yeah, it definitely shouldn't fill up in 5 years. It probably more like on the scale of 100 years.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a great question, and you want to think about maintenance. But the advantage there is, this is actually a water quality grant that the city was given. So even though we're focused on flood control, which is, what everyone cares about, this actually, because sediment goes into these sinks, bacteria also goes into these sinks, nutrients go into these sinks, it all benefits the water quality, makes it safer for kids to swim and better for fish. So it does have those water quality benefits, but that means that sediment gets trapped in the sink, right? So it will accumulate over time. Just like a ditch that, is kind of, it's built and then 30 years later, you got, this much sediment at the bottom of it, so.
And then visually, how does it look? Does it just look like, can people still play in it and do stuff in it, or is it grassy, or
Yes.
what kind of maintenance is required for when it's not raining?
Yes, so the biggest thing that you all will need to pay attention to, so these sinks fill up, and they've got a pipe that drains them.
Okay.
That pipe has a flap gate, so that the water can't go in when the water's right. The water only goes in from over the top, right? Once the flood water is getting deep enough to come in from over the top, then the water goes in. And then once the water's in there and the creek drops back down, the flap gate opens and lets the water out. So that flap gate has a trash rack on it to keep debris out of there from, jamming it up. But that's the main thing you gotta keep an eye on, is just make sure that flap gate doesn't get, stuck open or something, and then it won't, just fill up too. You want it to fill up when it's actually mattering, right? When it's actually, shaving that flood water off, not the little trickles. So anyway, they're designed to drain. It will be, it's a pretty flat site, and there's a lot of bedrock, so we have to kind of watch out for the bedrock. And I don't know exactly, you might have some soggy areas, but in general, you can plant it however you want to plant it, and you can mow it however you want to mow it.
Okay.
If you want it to be wildflowers and habitat, you can do that. We've done a lot like that. But if you just want it to be, a mowed field, you can do it. All the banks are 4-to-1 slopes or flatter, so that's very safe to mow. And like I said, it's got that flap gate that drains. The Walker property sink is unique in that there's a storm pipe that drains into it. So that's going to get some water in there pretty much every time it rains, but it'll drain. But the Pribble Park one, if 2024 happened again, you get 2 events in there. So, for the most part, it's going to be pretty dry.
Mm-hmm.
So other than the rain that actually falls in there, so if you wanted to keep, using it for trails, but again, if you want it to be habitat and you just want to walk around the edge and see ducks, you can do that too, so it kind of depends on what y'all want, but we can plant native flowers for bees and butterflies, or we can just plant grass. It's up to you all, so.
Okay. Any other questions? Bob, thank you so much. You've been a great partner on this project. I would like to point out Art Walker's here tonight. And Mr. Walker, thank you so much for your all's partnership and for being a part of this. And you're making a land donation or giving us the easement to make sure that we can do something to address future flooding problems in our community. So appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Bob, we'll be in touch,
Okay.
and like I said, we'll officially close this one out when we're ready to get our easements finalized. But y'all been great partners. Thank you.
Thank you.
Be safe going home.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Thanks,
Next, we have Kelly Ward, Gateway Regional Arts Center. Kelly, welcome. Kelly had given you a read ahead. It's just an event they have coming up at the Arts Center. She's going to brief that here tonight. Good event, but it's going to be a loud event, right? As I'm understanding. So the reason she's here tonight is because she will be requesting a permit in accordance with our noise ordinance to allow them to have this event past established quiet time. So Kelly, I'll turn that over to you and let you tell everybody all the fun that's going on.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Box. It's wonderful to meet all of the council tonight. My name is Kelly Ward. I
I included like in that little packet, a little like competition flyer for our upcoming Back Porch Battle of the Bands event. So this might sound like a mouthful event, but really it is gonna be like an all day long music festival held outside at GRAC in our new like green space renovation project we're working on. So in case you all weren't aware, GRAC is renovating its back parking lot and turning it into like an interactive outdoor like stage area, green space with like lawn games, a mural, just to provide like a space for the community to come do like outdoor performances, music performances, acting, and all that fun stuff. So the green space itself opens up September 11th, but our first like big event that we want to do out there would be this Back Porch Battle of the Bands event. So we do have like rain options in case this like is a rainy day and this could be moved inside. But like Mayor Bob was talking about, I am like requesting like a special noise permit because the hours for this event last from 4 p.m. until midnight. So from what I understand, I think 10 p.m. is like the electricity ordinance, like noise levels.
Yes,
So-
10 p.m., the noise levels are reduced, so we go into quieter hours. So
Yeah.
Kelly, and the date of that, is that a Friday or Saturday
It
night?
is Saturday, it's
Saturday
Saturday, October 3rd. So the event lasts until midnight is what we're billing it as, but hopefully by like 11:30 it should wrap up. But basically, like this all-day event will be ideally held outdoors, like in our new space, and it'll be a way to like bring our community together to enjoy the new space at GRAC, but more importantly to bring people together and enjoy lots of really fun, wonderful music together. So GRAC did a lot of surveys last year to poll like what does our community want from GRAC, and a lot of them want live concerts and more opportunities to music. So this is one way that we thought we could get a bunch of birds out with like one stone, offer like a bunch of free, not free, but it'll be like $10 general admission for like an all-day event, which is a pretty good deal in my book. But people can come and enjoy the live music, enjoy the new space, and just like bring people together in the community with local musicians, bring everybody together, their friends and family. So I think it's gonna be a pretty great event, and hopefully we can make it like an annual thing. But we do have like headline performances, like after the competition of the Battle of the Bands event itself. And those like headline performances are the rock bands that play in the evening. So that 10 p.m. to midnight is probably when it would get a little bit louder, because that's like our headline performance for the night. But we think the audience would be very into this, and we think it could have a lot of appeal, and we are expecting a lot of people to come to this, so I think it'll be a very successful event. So, just wondering if what you all think.
Kelly had already mentioned, but just for council, you all will notify all of your neighbors in the area that this event is taking place, so they're going to be very proactive in their messaging. And what they're asking for tonight is a permit for an exemption to those noise requirements for that night only. And we could offer, in case there's a rain day.
Yeah. And if it were to rain, I think this would just transition to inside GRAC, like in our
Okay.
performance hall, so. that's-
Still be loud though.
Yeah, it's gonna be loud, so.
Okay. You all have any questions, concerns? Just like getting a fireworks permit, we're just offering somebody an opportunity to have a louder celebration past quiet hours.
Pretty
So,
long time.
okay. Any other questions? Ask for unanimous consent that we issue them the permit for this event. Everybody okay with that? Okay. So without objection here, it sounds like everybody's on board, and look forward to a good event. Please keep me posted. We'll notify 911. I'll issue you something officially in writing so that you have that.
Awesome. Thank you so
Okay?
much.
Thank you, Kelly. Y'all keep up the good work down there.
Thank you.
Next item is approval of the July 21st, 2026 council meeting minutes. Those were in your packet. I know you've had an opportunity to look those over. Just need a motion to approve. Motion Barnes.
Second.
Second from King. Any discussion? All the members, please.
Barnes. Hilton.
Abstain.
King.
Aye.
Murphy.
Aye.
Trimble.
Thank you. Item number 8, July financial reports. These were in your packet. I know you've had an opportunity to review those. If you have any questions or comments, don't hesitate to bring those forward. Next item is department head committee reports. We'll start with Chief Noel. Chief, good evening and welcome.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Council. You guys should have the stats for last month's call for service. Again, nothing crazy than unusual. Just a couple quick updates.